Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to show you all the different exercises you can do when training with a hand gripper. This is here the Captains of Crush hand gripper, and it's the trainer model. So I chose a very light gripper for demonstration purposes because I'm going to perform a lot of different exercises in a row. So therefore I needed a light gripper to really show you everything you can do with such a gripper. And most people really think, well, there's not really so much to it, because you already see by looking at this device that what's needed is obviously that you take the gripper, squeeze the handles as hard as you can and make them touch each other, right? And that's obviously true. But that's the most simple, the most simple form, because just grabbing it, so without not setting it at all, grabbing it and closing it like that is obviously a good exercise to really train the whole range of motion. But once you get to a certain level of grippers, let's say for example the COC 1.5, even with bigger hands, it becomes more and more difficult to really train the whole range of motion, simply because the spread of the handles becomes bigger and bigger, and the resistance increases as well. So therefore people came up with different sets to train really each and every part of the range of motion, because this range of motion here is dividable at least into two halves. The first half, which is easier, and the second half, which is obviously harder. And for me, I would personally also say it's dividable into three phases, because it's always the last 2 to 3 millimeters that really make a problem for most of the people, because the resistance is almost at its maximum, and that's where people have the hardest time to really hold the gripper there in the position and push it even further. Okay, so therefore people said, okay, let's try closing the gripper with different types of setting techniques. For example, the very light set. So simply pushing the front handle a little bit, that I can get my pinky around it easily, so that I'm in a more advantageous position to close it, right? And then there's something called the parallel set. That is something that's mostly used in grip sports contests, because most of the people say, okay, once you set it in this position where the handles are parallel, your hand size doesn't really play a role anymore. And that's true. That's really true. If you simply want to close it from this position on, it's not really that important that you have big hands. What is, however, important is that your offhand is strong enough to set it in that position. And if that offhand is not strong enough, then it doesn't really mean anything if you were able to close it from that position or not, because you cannot get it there. So it's really important that you also always train both hands, not only just one hand, always both hands. Because even if you just want to certify on your right hand, for example, on the COC number 3, you still need a strong left hand to help you set the gripper properly. And as we know, if you want to certify on the COC number 3, you are not really allowed to set it that much, only a little bit, so that the credit card can fit in this gap here, right? That's a light set, and therefore you can really say a wide set and a credit card set is almost the same, right? The only difference is that a credit card set really means that you need to be able to put a credit card in there. But for me personally, in terms of appearance, in terms of looks, that's not really so much different from a wide set. And yeah, that's one thing. And then there's the deep set. The deep set is also very important for training the last 2 or 3 millimeters. And what you do then is you really set it extremely deep, so that the handles almost touch each other. And from there on, you simply close it like that. And that is called baby click grabs. And those baby click grabs are very important for you to strengthen your hand in the position where you have the gripper almost closed, because that's the most taxing phase of the range of motion. So it's very important to train those baby click reps as well. So you see, all different sets are very useful and necessary to go up there in grippers. That's obviously one thing. And then of course, you can do it for several reps. So let me use my left hand now to get this hand a little rest. I can do a couple of reps here, of course. I can go for max reps if I want to, which is about 20 with my left hand if I'm fresh, and 25 maybe with my right hand if I'm fresh. But you don't need to go as high. What you can also do is, of course, doing only 3 to 5 reps, but more sets, for example. Or even something a little bit more interesting is doing 3 reps, for example. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and with a 2 count between each rep, or a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 count, depending on how hard you want to train. Or what you can also do is, for example, going for max holds. So closing the gripper and holding it shut until you cannot anymore. Okay, that's also something you can do. Or for example, go for reps until your very last rep and then try to hold it shut in that last repetition of a set or of the whole workout, for example. Okay, also very important. And no matter how you set it, of course, you can always train in the parallel set position. You can also train in the very deep set position, or without a set if you want to. So that's up to you, depending on what you want to accomplish and where you see your weaknesses. And that's maybe everything according to normal rep things you can do. No, there's something else. This is called speed contrast training. What that basically means is you do a rep, but you do it in different speeds. So normally what you would do is simply grab the gripper and squeeze it as hard and as fast as possible. This is sort of like powerlifting training, because in powerlifting it's really about explosion, and that's the same here. But what you can also do is, for example, do it much slower, and also on the negative, much slower, so that you train different muscle fibers. Okay? You can even do it extremely slow, and then it becomes very difficult. For example, like this. See? Different types of muscle fibers, different types of training. Now, what you can also do is you take something like a block. You can use a stack of paper, for example, if you don't have a setting block, or you can buy one for 10 or 20 bucks or something like that. And what you do then is you take this block, okay, and put it between the handles and squeeze the gripper as hard as you can for as long as you can until the block falls off. That's the block hold, guys. And according to the block hold, we also have something called the coin hold. So if you take a look at the thickness of the coin in comparison to the block, you see that the difference is quite substantial. And obviously this is harder. So let me try it with my right hand now. This is, by the way, also a good training method for coordinating your set, because if you want to certify on the COC number 3, it is not guaranteed that the referee gives you the credit card when you want to have it. So in most of the cases you have to set the gripper first, hold it in that position swipe the credit card in, take it off again, and then try to close the gripper. So it's also very important for you to learn that coordination. Let's take the €2 coin, and I'm going to set it in this case now, because I have to hold it in that position for a little bit until I can put the coin in. So therefore it's very important. And always hold it straight, because if you don't hold it straight, you will buy extra time and you're cheating. And this is my 7th take or 8th take of the video, because I was talking bullshit in the previous take, so I couldn't really put them online or record them. Yeah, but therefore I'm also not really that fresh when I was starting. That's then the coin hold. Some people say buy the silver bullet, for example, from Iron Mind, or the equivalent from Silarukov, and put it in between the handles and try to hold it there. But that's not really necessary. What you can also do, for example, take a resistance band, take a small weight, so half a kg, half a kilo, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to squeeze them as hard as I can and try to set the gripper. So you see, the coordination is very important. And hold it like this. So that is also a good technique if you don't want to pay any extra money for Silarukov or Iron Mind silver bullet. Also something you can obviously do. And another thing you can do is holding the gripper upside down and do everything you've done with holding the gripper in the normal position upside down, right? That's obviously another method. So you can really see you can train a lot of different things with grippers. I hope you found it interesting. If so, leave me a like and see you soon.